Before 11 o'clock, and in the studio, Vanessa Lane Jennings is here to answer your legal conundrum questions. She is the host of this segment called Legal Lane. Vanessa Lane Jennings is an attorney here in Ocala. She focuses on all kinds of law. It says here criminal law, contract law, small business law, family law, employment law. She worked on congressional campaigns as a political coordinator. I bet you're glad you're not part of this year, huh?
I'm very glad I'm part of this year.
Anyway, so she's here to answer your questions about the law. If you have any questions, we want you to call in and ask them. We realize that asking legal questions on the air might be uncomfortable. It's often a personal thing. Oh, let me put your picture on. What am I doing? There, now they can see you. So you can use a fake name. You can disguise your voice, put a cloth over the mouth. Remember in the old days, you put a cloth over the mouthpiece? It didn't really change anything, did it? But
I like that in the old, no.
You don't remember that, do you?
I don't remember that. I missed that whole...
You're too young. Good morning, Vanessa. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Good morning, guys. How are y'all?
I learned a legal term yesterday.
You did? What was
the
that?
whole country did. Amicus briefs. Am I saying it right? Amicus or abacus?
Yes, amicus briefs.
Amicus. Yeah, the whole country learned that term yesterday.
Friend of the court brief.
Is that what that's another way of saying it?
Yes, that's what amicus means. It's a friend.
Yeah, like Amity. Amity's a friend, right? Amityville is a horror place, but it's a friendly place.
But it's a friendly horror.
So, do you know why it was in the news, amicus briefs?
I missed it. I was in a trial, so I've missed a lot of things.
Well, it's because of yesterday was the deadline, 4 p.m. yesterday, for the people who would file an amicus brief regarding the Apple versus FBI case.
Yes.
So in other words, the amicus briefs were filed by Google, by Facebook, by anybody who had an interest in it but wasn't really a part of it.
Right. They're doing it on behalf of.
So what does that do? Do you use that sometimes in your own in cases in a smaller... Like this is a huge international case. And
I have not used it once in any of my cases, nor have I ever done an amicus brief for somebody else. But I do know they are done.
So
good.
I wondered if I actually did this accidentally and was refused to allow them. Because, forgive me if you're listening and you're my ex-wife, but when we were getting divorced, I had my family write letters. Because I was afraid I was going to lose my son. I was afraid she was going to take my 4-year-old boy, and I was never going to see him. I was really petrified. So I asked my mother and Robin and my father, would you write something that says I'm a good father? Just write something. And I'm not saying anything bad about her. I just say something good about me. And so I had a folder of letters. Would they have been considered amicus briefs?
No, those aren't amicus
briefs. Those are not, okay.
No, those are normally character references.
Oh, okay.
And those actually wouldn't be admissible without the person who wrote them.
Oh, and they didn't allow them. They wouldn't allow anybody to look at them.
Because you need someone to admit them into court.
Oh, okay.
So you have to have the person normally who, you don't have to have the person who wrote them necessarily, but if you're going to attest to what's inside of them, you would need the person there.
Okay. Well, I guess then all's well that ends well, right? It worked out good. It worked out really good, but anyway. It
was touch and go there for a moment.
What's that?
Was it touch and go for a moment?
Oh, I was heartbroken. I thought, oh no, I don't want this to happen in my life, and thank God I was able to be with my son. So I didn't have a lawyer, so I didn't know any of that stuff.
Right.
I just thought, why do you need a lawyer? I thought you go to court, you tell the truth. Well, I didn't do anything wrong,
Exactly.
But you do need a lawyer.
You do, because they hold you to the standard that they would hold a lawyer to. So if you want a witness to come in, if you want evidence to come in, if you want to show a picture, if you want to show a text message, you need to know how to lay the foundation to get to that piece of evidence actually admitted into court. And they presume that you have the same amount of experience as someone who went to 3 years of law school.
Some that's crazy. How would I have that? But we didn't do it in a courtroom, though. We did it like in a little office.
In chambers?
Is that what you call it, chambers?
Yeah.
Sometimes you can do it in chambers. Most divorce hearings here in Marion County do take place in the courtroom.
With the guys, the judges at a big high desk, like a pharmacist?
I don't know if I would compare him to a pharmacist, but yes, they're at
but they're the only two people who have an elevated, and actors, pharmacists, and judges. They have an elevated place.
Yeah.
Okay. I would kind of put judges above all of them in my world, but that's okay.
But it's a stage, right? It's higher.
They're on a platform.
A platform. Oh, and a pastor, too.
Okay, see?
Pastor's kind of up on a stage, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how many?
I'm buying all this.
So how many briefs are there? Because Julia Roberts had that movie, The Pelican Brief, which I thought was very good, and they didn't really explain what it was, but I guess she wrote a paper about some bad guys, some bad things that were happening, and they called it The Pelican Brief.
Well, the whole point of the brief is when you're writing, normally it's a policy argument.
Oh.
And you're arguing it from, you put law in there. You definitely have the law, and you have a very structured format. But the whole point of it is to show why that would be a poor decision one way or another if the judge ruled for the other side. Like, this is why ruling for the other side would be a bad idea. And that's why it's called a friend of the court, or, it's a friendly brief, because it's, as a friend of the court, we're coming in and telling you why this would be a bad idea for one reason or another.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
So you spend so much time with your client, and if there's an opposing side, that attorney spends so much time with his or her client, the judge really only spends that little bit of time in the courtroom. So you really have to lay out a case. Otherwise, the judge doesn't get what's going on, right?
Especially in appellate world, when they're going to be reading the briefs, your briefs really are your case. You put everything that you possibly can. You're going to go to oral argument where you argue your briefs, but it really is, you need to get as much in there, make it as persuasive as humanly possible.
So does the judge know anything at all about the case before he sits down at that bench?
Only what is in your briefs and in the court
So he's
report.
looked at that before you get it, before he walks in and everybody says, rise?
I would hope he had.
Everybody rises?
That's the point, is that they know what's in the court file. They're allowed to know what's
Do you
in the
think
court
you'd
file.
ever like to be a judge?
Absolutely, one day.
All rise for Vanessa.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Right, more like Judge Judy, though.
What would they call you? Judge Vanessa, right? No, they would call you Judge Jennings.
Well, yes. Whatever
All
you tell
rise
them
for
to call
Judge
you.
Jennings.
Sure.
Well, I hope I'm never standing before you. I'll say, oh, Vanessa, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do what I did.
That's right.
Hope I don't do anything.
Well, how does that work then? If you wanted to throw your hat into the ring to be a judge, how would you go about doing that?
There's two ways that you can do it. You could do it through the electoral cycle, or you would just
Be voted on.
You put out your signs and your billboards, and you go door to door campaigning. The other option is if there's a vacancy, then you sign up to be, for the governor to consider you for that vacancy. And there's a committee who reviews you beforehand. They send a handful of names up to Tallahassee, and then you go through an interview process.
Do we have one female judge right now in Marion
No,
County?
we have 3.
Oh, really? Okay.
We have Judge Bass, who was just appointed.
Uh-huh.
She's the family law judge. We have Judge Craggs. She was also appointed, and it's a family law judge. And then we have Judge Ritterhoff Williams, who is misdemeanor criminal court
She's
judge.
the only one I know. We met her somewhere at a 5K event.
Yes.
Yeah, she was running with Judge McCune, the two of them.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Like gazelles.
Yeah, they were quick.
Yeah.
I know.
Not like
Judge
us. We're like squid.
That's okay.
I don't
wasn't
mean.
even
I don't mean.
there.
I don't mean the author of the book. I mean
No.
actual squid. Have you, by the way, seen Dancing Squid at a Chinese restaurant?
I have not seen Dancing Squid.
Oh, you gotta look this up on YouTube.
Okay.
Can I tell you what it is?
Absolutely.
It's a bowl of rice with vegetables, and on top
Okay.
of it is. It looks like an octopus to me, but they say it's a squid.
Okay.
They say it's not alive, but when they put soy sauce on it, the legs start coming up. It's crazy.
Okay. I will definitely look it up on YouTube. I don't know if I'll ever order it, but I will look it up on YouTube.
It'd be a great party favorite.
Did
though,
you
wouldn't it?
did you by the way see the follow up on the news reporter Aaron Andrews, I think, suing the Marriott? Remember we talked about this?
We did talk about that.
Did
And
you-
I did see I've been following it since.
Have you? I mean, what do you think about that? I mean, one of the guys from the Marriott apparently was looking at the video in a restaurant, and somebody saw him looking at it. But I don't know that would make him necessarily a party to the crime, right?
Because that was an after fact.
Yeah.
But did he know beforehand? Did he have any idea? Did they not take the steps to protect her when they knew that this was a possibility?
Okay, can we talk about this for a second? Maybe that guy's part of this is hard to talk about. But just say she says, all right, I'm in a room and you guys booked somebody next to me knowing that I'm famous and a pretty woman. I mean, she could use that as an argument. And therefore, I should never have anybody in a room next to me. Right? What would be the precedent that is being set here? I mean, and why wouldn't Robin just? Well, she's sort of famous, but what about somebody who's not famous? You know, I mean, shouldn't you be protected in the same way?
I think the difference is this person had particularly asked for that room beforehand, and they didn't make notes on the file. You know, I want to be next to this person, so they didn't make any notes on the file, or they didn't annotate the file to say that this person wants to be near this famous person, and then they asked to be changed to a very specific room, and would be an odd request. Why would you want that specific room? And so they didn't do their due diligence, would be the argument. You know, if someone says, I want to go to 201 and you're in 410, what's so special about 201?
Oh,
So
that makes a lot of sense.
So I think it's more looking at the overall misstep on the hotel.
If you have a question for Vanessa and you feel uncomfortable asking on the air, we're taking a break right now. You can call during the break. But it's only a 3-minute break. So you got to call right now, 622-9622. Otherwise, we would love for your question to be on the air. But I promise if you call right now, it won't go on the air. And we'll let you know whether you're on the air or not. I know that some of you are uncomfortable asking. 622-9622. We'll take a break and take your calls during the break and after the break. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For Friday, more sun than clouds. There can be a shower in spots along the coast, but most areas will be rain-free or high today in the 70s. And fair skies Friday night with lows ranging from the mid and upper 40s and a few inland spots to about 57 along the coast. Saturday will be partly sunny, high 74 to 78. Sunday, mostly sunny, highs in the mid to upper 70s. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Wow, man, you have a computer?
Yes, and I'm looking at villages1.com. They have a ton of information for the Villages resident.
Wow, they have information by the ton? I only need a couple ounces, man.
Movies, schedule, doctors, local attractions, even a section called Who You Gonna Call for plumbers and painters and stuff like that. These guys own cyberspace.
Wow, man, they own it? What's cyberspace?
That's where they packaged 50,000 pages of information for the Village residents.
Wow, they package it where?
Villages1.com.
Where, man?
Villages1.com.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
Most couples get ring tattoos after the wedding ceremony, not for the engagement, which is smart considering 25% of all engaged couples, they never make it to the altar. Taking breaks help boost our mood and makes us more creative and productive. When a woman feels threatened, she tends to touch the front of her neck or play with her necklace because it's an area that's physically vulnerable. For men, their towel is fidgeting with their tie.
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Veterans are the foundation upon which our freedom is built. Listen to The Source, WOCA, each Thursday at 9 a.m. to Veterans News with Hank Whittier from Vets Helping Vets. You'll hear tributes, information on veterans issues, and stories that will make you laugh, cry, and feel proud. Veterans News always focuses on the military, past and present, and on our first responders. Veterans News is brought to you each week by Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens and Nursery, keeping you blooming since 1952.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
The most trusted name in news, Fox News, every half hour, only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
WOCA. All right, we've got 11 minutes now before 11 o'clock. You are invited to call to ask Vanessa Lane Jennings a question if you have a legal concern, and don't be shy. You can change your name if you want, 622-9622. Otherwise, you call Vanessa at her office. What is your number over there?
It's 352-804-0092.
And there you go. There was a story the other day about a change in the statute of limitations. Something was extended. So you must have to be on top of the law. Like today, something is different than it was last week, according to that news article. So you've got to know that changed.
That's why we take our continuing education classes. It keeps us up to date.
It never ends, huh?
It never ends. No, every year there's a Florida update, and you could take the Florida update, which gives you the basics of all law changes that you'll probably encounter in your daily practice. And then for whatever specific area that you practice, like they're looking into changing time sharing in the Florida legislature, and that's something that's being voted on at this, in the coming months.
Oh, really?
So, that's something that you would take, since I do family law, you take continuing education classes so you can keep up with all the new law changes.
Wow.
And
Nice. We do have a phone call. Good morning. Thank you for calling. You're on the air with Vanessa.
Yes, good morning. Vanessa, is it mandatory that if you wanted to become a judge, you had to be practicing law?
I know you've had to be a lawyer for 5 years, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say you'd have to have some type of practicing, because you do have, they ask all your cases. I've seen the paperwork to do it. I don't know if you actually have had to practice, but you do have to have been a lawyer and pass the bar for 5 years.
That kind of answers the question. Hey, do you handle real estate transactions?
I do basic deeds. I do warranty deeds, quick claim deeds, contract for deeds. That's basically the extent of my real estate practice.
I was going to say, how important do you feel that you should be represented by a lawyer in a real estate deal when you're purchasing or selling something?
I think if you're doing an owner-to-owner transaction where the owner is selling to the, of course, to the buyer, and it's going to be owner financed, I think that's when you need an attorney definitely to step in to go over everything, especially to draft that contract, to look over the contract. I've known people who try to pull them off the internet or buy them from LegalZoom, and some of them don't protect the clients as well as they should.
Okay. Is there like a basic charge for that, or is it every case is a little bit different?
Every case is a little bit different on that one. It's a case-by-case basis.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Thank you.
And thank you for the call. The phone line is open if you want to call Vanessa Lane Jennings, 622-9622. We all learned from the questions that you asked. We just learned a little bit right there. I wouldn't have thought of that question. So, real estate is a legal thing. What's crazy is that we go to the voting poll and we vote for people who've never studied law, and we have them making laws. Isn't that crazy?
Well, that's the whole point of it.
Is it?
That was the whole point, that you get someone like the peanut farmer who comes in and knows nothing about the legal process, but knows about what it's like to be a farmer and to lead our country. So I'm not saying they did a good job or they did a bad job, but it's one of those things where you're trying to get a diversification so that actually represents our populace.
Very well said. Okay, let's take another phone call. Good morning. You're on there with Vanessa.
Vanessa, whenever argument goes in arbitration, is the arbitrator actually acting as a judge, or what are the qualifications for the arbitrator?
The arbitrator is a quasi-judicial process, though they are not a judge, as in the sense of normal judges sit on the bench and make rulings. It is a binding decision. So whatever they come up with, it is binding.
Oh, really?
And they have a specific appeals process that you go through that's different than the normal appeals process, but it is an appeals process. Because arbitration's outside of the judicial system to a degree, but yet it is a binding process.
Okay.
I have another question.
Okay, go ahead.
Concerning POA and the spousal rights, can the Social Security arbitrarily go and change or redirect payments, for instance, from a financial institution to a healthcare institution without the approval of the spouse or the POW, who has a durable power of attorney? Now, I'll hang up and I'll listen to your comment.
Okay, thank you.
I actually do not do Social Security disability or Social Security law, so I do not know the answer to that question. But if you call my law firm, I can direct you to somebody who could definitely answer that question. My number is 352-804-0092. There's someone I direct all my cases to.
There you go.
So.
And I'm guessing that happens a lot, where you have to redirect somebody to a different attorney or a different specialist, right?
Absolutely. For every field that I don't work in. I have one particular attorney that I
okay.
people to, because I've sent enough people there that I know, like, and trust them, and that's who I would go by.
Do you have an opinion on Judge Scalia's nomination, if they should wait to appoint him for the next president, or should they do it now, his replacement? What do you feel? Or can you answer something like that?
Oh, no, I can answer. My legal answer is the Constitution gives the president the right to do it. It also gives the, nominee the ability to knock down if they don't approve for whatever, if it doesn't meet their qualifications. Mm-hmm. So the president has the authority to go ahead and do it, and then the Senate go and do whatever they want to do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that just seems kind of unnerving, because we do need...
Well, it's in there's certain things that are on the docket that are
Mm-hmm.
going to be addressed that are going to be tiebreakers, and you're going to need someone there to make that final decision.
Mm-hmm.
So whether I agree that it should be a Republican or a Democratic nomination, that's a personal thing, but there does need to be another person there.
Can I ask you to just elaborate a little bit on the arbitrator question?
Sure.
When would you? It sounds like an arbitrator, even though he's not a judge or she, kind of comes to a finite conclusion.
That's correct.
Yeah, so that's almost like a judge, isn't it?
Yes, it's almost like a judge. That's why they call it quasi-judicial. It's almost like a judge, but not quite.
So when would you use that? When would you use that person?
There's certain contracts that in the contract themselves have an arbitration clause that says if we get into any type of disagreement on this contract, we're foregoing the judicial process and we're going to go to an arbitrator.
Oh, really?
And then there's just certain other processes that are in the legal government where you do that as well.
And why would I sign a contract that says that?
Well, I wouldn't suggest you do.
You wouldn't suggest we do, but I believe we have. I believe there's been some contracts we've signed like that.
Some you don't have a choice. Some if you want to enter into that contract, they're not going to take it out.
And why are they wanting that? Because if something goes wrong, then
it's normally less expensive.
It's less expensive. I figured it was
or
money.
for them in the long run, but it's normally a little bit more expensive for you.
Oh, really? Oh my goodness. Okay.
And are all cases based on when you've got two separate parties involved, whoever loses, they're the ones that pay all the fees on both sides? Or is that something that's, judged upon?
That's judged upon. It's a case-by-case basis. There has to be normally a statutory right to pay for the attorney's fees in that particular style case. Mm-hmm. There's definitely ones out there that says, if you sue under this statute, you not only get attorney's fees, but you get triple damages.
Oh.
One of the triple damages statutes is civil theft. So if someone steals from you, say one of your parents has someone come home to their house and they wipe out, as a caregiver, and they start writing fraudulent checks and they wipe out your parents' bank account. Well, if you sue them for civil theft, and because you can go to the state attorney's office and have them prosecuted, but you could also sue them civilly as well. You can go for 3 times the amount. It's called treble damages.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. So we are probably making your brain hurt right now, asking all these questions. So are you going to any of the things tomorrow? We got the Strawberry Festival tomorrow. Are you doing anything fun? Are you going to First Friday tonight?
I do not know if I'm going to First Friday night. I have a couple different things that are on the agenda. But tomorrow night I am going to the Altrusa fundraiser.
Oh, okay.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun.
It's I think it's based upon Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader trivia.
That's the trivia
night.
Tom Schmitz is doing that.
Oh, Tom Schmitz is doing that? That's tomorrow night?
That's tomorrow night, yes. There's a couple different fundraisers tomorrow night, but that's the one that I'll be going to.
Okay, so that's in the evening. So do you want some strawberries? We can pick you up some strawberries.
I might have to go get some strawberries.
Vanessa, real quick before we run out of time, what is your phone number again?
It's area code 352-804-0092.
And call us here at WOCA if you'd like that repeated. Plus, you can share the video of the interview we just did with Vanessa Lane Jennings. It'll be on YouTube and Facebook by this afternoon. Thank you, Vanessa. Have a great weekend.
You as well. Bye,
this is WOCA Ocala.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Candidates turning their attention to the next round of primaries. Donald Trump in Michigan.
You got to get out. I'm going to say it again later, but